If you're making a calculation and you're supposed to state your answer in a fraction, it's generally expected that you give that fraction in its most simplified form, which means the smallest top and the smallest bottom possible. This process is called simplifying or giving a reduced fraction. So let's start with 32 over 40. What we need to do is look for numbers that divide both 32 and 40. You can get to the simplified or reduced form in one step if you can spot the greatest common factor between 32 and 40. Sometimes you can just see what the greatest common factor is by looking at the numbers, but that can take some practice, and with larger numbers it's pretty hard to spot what the greatest common factor is. So a simpler way to do it is just to start with any number that divides 32 and 40. I can easily see that 32 and 40 are both even, so I could start by dividing by 2, top and bottom. So if I take 32 divided by 2, I get 16, and if I take 40 divided by 2, I get 20. So 16 over 20 is still not in its lowest terms. I can tell that because 16 and 20 are both still even, so that means I can take out another 2. You'll know you're in lowest terms or in the reduced form when there aren't any more common factors between the top and the bottom. So let's take the 16 over 20 and let's divide by 2 again. That gives us 16 divided by 2 is 8 in the top, and 20 divided by 2 is 10 in the bottom. This is still not in lowest terms because 8 and 10 are still even. So let's divide by 2 again. That will give us 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now, 4 and 5 don't have any common factors left. What's more, 5 is actually a prime number, where the only numbers that divide 5 are 1 and itself. Once you start seeing prime numbers in your fractions, that's a pretty good indication that you're in lowest terms, but you should always make sure that you can't reduce any further. And you can see here that we divided by 2 3 times. So in retrospect, you could actually go back and figure out what is the greatest common factor between 32 and 40, the original numbers. And in that case, all the things we divided by, we just need to multiply together. So 2 times 2 times 2. That would give us 8. So if you were to go back, 32 divided by 8 gives you 4, and 40 divided by 8 gives you 5. Right away, that jumps you from the original to the lowest terms fraction. One great way to get the greatest common factor between any two numbers is to first find their prime factorization. We'll explore how to do that with the 32 and the 40. Just remember that a prime number is a number that can only be divided by 1 or itself. So let's start with the 32. To begin a prime factorization, we just need to divide out by any prime number. So let's start with the 2. So if we divide by 2, that leaves us with 16. So we push the 2 aside for a minute and then we just concentrate on the 16. And we divide by another prime number. In this case, we can do 2 again. So if we divide the 16 by 2, we get 2 and an 8. And again, we push the 2 off to the side and then we keep going with the 8. If we divide 8 by 2, we'll get 4. And continuing on, we divide 4 by 2 to get another 2. So now everything that we've squared in this diagram is the prime factorization. 32 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or you can write it as an exponent of 2 to the 5. Now let's repeat this process with 40. 40, if we divide by 2, that gives us 20. We put the 2 aside and then keep going with the 20. It's still even, so let's divide by 2 again. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. And then 10 is still even, so let's divide by 2 again. And 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. So now the prime factorization of 40 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So let's replace 40 with 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And you can see right away, now we can just compare the top and the bottom and cancel out the number of 2's or 5's as they match. So you can see there's 3 2's, top and bottom, that match, so we can cross them all out. And whatever we crossed out, top and bottom, also gives us our greatest common factor, which is again 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So what's left over now is our reduced form, which is 2 times 2 equal to 4 in the top over 5, which is lowest terms.